deplorable conditions in some Baltimore City schools, and parents are outraged over a lack of accountability. The images of students struggling to learn in the bitter cold went viral on social media, and the entire system shut down last week. WJZ investigator Mike Helgren is live at Calverton Elementary, which remains closed, with the new spotlight on Baltimore's classrooms. Mike?
Denise, this is another hit to Baltimore's reputation. And yes, Calverton's doors remain closed to students, but this is bigger than just one school, and some parents wonder if their voices are really being heard.
Just so you can know how we feel. This is a tragedy.
Furious parents took Baltimore's school board to task over freezing schools.
It's so cold that our children can barely hold a number 2 pencil in their hands.
Children shall not go to school in these kinds of temperatures.
Heating problems and deplorable building conditions have become an embarrassment for the city, and they're getting new nationwide attention.
It's inhumane for these children.
We asked Governor Hogan if he shouldered any blame.
We shoulder a lot.
I feel bad for the children. I feel bad for the parents sending their children
into
this
third
school.
world conditions.
How can a child concentrate?
That's right.
The mayor on the coverage.
They chose Baltimore City. Kennedy Airport was filled with water. It was one of the deepest freezes in the nation. So I think you could have went to almost any area of the country and found very similar signs of people being cold.
Some still frustrated in Baltimore say no way. Calverton Elementary remains closed. Jasmine's brother is a student here.
They should have been doing something. All this money they spending, they make too much money for it not to be heat in these schools.
Now they're freezing in the winter, and in spite of unbelievable amounts of money that have been put in from the state, that was in many cases mismanaged and misspent.
Still unanswered whether anyone will take accountability if more children shiver in near-freezing classrooms when the next cold snap comes.
Anyone who tells you we value our children the same is lying. Y'all need to get it straight. We need help here.
And as for Calverton, the mayor says they're in talks with the Archdiocese about using Seton Keogh as a replacement school building, but nothing has been finalized yet. Live in West Baltimore, Mike Helgren, WJZ.
All right, thank you, Mike. Now, the mayor met with the governor today and says $11 million more will go towards maintenance projects in city schools, on top of $2.5 million the governor pledged from emergency funds.
Recent cold snap exposed shameful conditions in some Baltimore City public schools. Students forced to shiver in classrooms with broken heat. Tonight, WJZ investigator Mike Helgren looks into what's being done to make sure this never happens again.
Very cold. You guys are cold?
Yeah.
Baltimore native and former NFL linebacker Aaron Maben never thought this 45-second video he took inside his art class at West Baltimore's Matthew Henson Elementary would get worldwide attention.
I'm upset at anybody that isn't just as furious seeing that video.
How cold was it for your students there?
It was about 40 degrees in my classroom that day.
Were you surprised that it was that cold in a classroom?
So I was shocked. Something terrible is going to happen in one of these buildings one day. How long are we going to allow our policymakers just to pass the buck to the next administration?
Oh, your apology is not accepted.
At a heated school board meeting, fed-up parents fumed.
Just so you can know how we feel.
Now, did you expect the kind of anger that was directed toward you and the board at the school board meeting?
School CEO Dr. Sonia Sanalisas maintains schools are underfunded, but she takes responsibility and never wants to see kids in class shivering in their coats again.
We now have a protocol, and we are clearly communicating that to school leaders around what acceptable temperatures will be.
And what about $66 million the system gave back because repair projects missed deadlines and budgets?
It was our team who found that we were owed $66 million. We brought that to light, and then we turn around and we get beat up for it.
The governor's spokeswoman says that's misleading. All of that money is still earmarked for city schools. But since 2011, 55 projects were canceled for heating, roofs, and fire safety because of management issues, including bad estimates, delayed starts, and problems qualifying the contractors.
Unbelievable amounts of money that have been put in from the state that was, in many cases, mismanaged.
No school has been closed as long as Calverton Elementary Middle. The 647 students have only been to class one day since the new year, as crews worked around the clock to get the heat back on. The problem here at Calverton is water inside the pipes that heat the building. It turns to ice, and then those pipes burst, and we've seen this time and time again here.
There's no way that the powers that be didn't know about this.
Aaron Mabin says his fight for Baltimore's kids isn't over, and he never wants to see them given the cold shoulder again.
Why does it take a former NFL player saying the exact same thing that so many people have been saying for years now? Let's actually get out here and put some action behind these words. Our kids need it.
In West Baltimore, Mike Helgren, WJZ.
Broken heating systems again closed several Baltimore City schools today, angering parents. The head of city schools has promised better communication and monitoring of classroom temperatures. WJZ has been extensively following the issue, getting answers from city and state leaders. WJZ investigator Mike Helgren is live at City Springs Elementary, which closed early today, continuing to track all of these problems. Mike?
Jessica, students got out before noon today. Many tell us they were wearing coats and hats in the classroom, and it comes as the governor is touting record levels of spending on education in his new budget. Heating problems at 2 Baltimore City schools left students in the cold again. Dismissed early at City Springs and Lakewood Elementaries.
Super icy cold. Everybody was shivering. It felt like an iceberg.
I'm very angry.
And parents were hot under the collar.
And this has been going on, what? A little too long, and it's ridiculous. And City Springs really needs some help. And you keep sending them home every day, get it fixed.
The CEO of City Schools told WJZ there would be quick action if the heat breaks, after facing angry parents who complained too little was done in the past.
Young people will not be left in those conditions, and we will have better reporting.
And the governor is touting his new budget, providing, he says, the most money for school construction in a decade.
In this budget, we put a record $6.5 billion into K-12 education, which is above and beyond spending formulas proposed by the legislature.
Shanita Hayes is a substitute teacher. How do you teach?
It's very uncomfortable. Sometimes you take off your sweaters and give the children the layers that you have, and you try to make them comfortable, but they don't want to focus when they're uncomfortable.
One school that did stay open this time was Calverton in West Baltimore. Tuesday was only the second full day of classes for students there this year.
They go there to learn. They don't need to be freezing. And it's upsetting because they can fix all the other county schools and stuff. They can fix the city schools up too.
Some high school students, including at Poly, say their classrooms remain cold. No word on which schools may close due to heating problems, if any, tomorrow. Reporting live at City Springs Elementary Middle, Mike Helgren, WJZ.
All right, Mike, thank you. There's been a grassroots effort led by art teacher and former NFL linebacker Aaron Mabin to collect space heaters and winter clothing for children. Already, more than $80,000 has been raised online.
We've been covering the ongoing heating problems in Baltimore City schools, and today 2 more schools dismissed early because of heating issues. I'm at one of them, Lakewood Elementary School. This is in East Baltimore.
WJZ investigator Mike Helgren, he is live at Frederick Douglass High School with the ongoing problem of a lack of heat in many Baltimore schools. Mike?
Denise, they made a lot of progress over the weekend, but problems continued to pop up, including broken pipes. Now, the governor pledged more than $2 million to fix broken heating systems, but he also lashed out at city schools for mismanaging funds he gave in the past.
You had frostbite yesterday?
Images of children enduring freezing temperatures in Baltimore City classrooms provoked a nationwide outcry and parents demanding a fix.
They need to get it together. The kids deserve to be warm. They can't learn in the cold.
I think it's horrible. These kids need their education.
And just hours after officials gathered at City Hall.
Thank the mayor
for her leadership. Thank Dr. Santelias.
Congratulating themselves for making around-the-clock emergency repairs over the weekend, the governor held his own news conference where he demanded accountability, along with announcing $2.5 million to help get heat working.
Let me be clear. This is not to reward the people responsible who have failed. This funding is literally about saving kids from freezing in winter. No child in the state of Maryland should ever have to suffer because of the failures of the responsible adult leaders.
The problems just keep coming along with the outrage. City schools lost more than $60 million in state funds to fix crumbling classrooms because of poorly managing projects. And even after emergency repairs, 8 schools were unable to stay open Monday because of burst pipes and a lack of heat.
I thought it was important that we get this work done. I don't have time to sit around and figure out who's in charge.
Very cold. You guys are cold.
The governor says problems aren't limited to Baltimore, and he wants an inspector general with power to call out school systems that waste money.
It is not a funding issue. It's an accountability and management and competency issue.
Now, that extra $2.5 million that is being given to Baltimore City schools will be administered by the State Department of General Services. The governor says Baltimore's children deserve far better.